Okay, I wanted to go into the singularity and discuss what that is based on my cosmology, my framework, and what we're going to be seeing here in the next 7 years. Okay, so, and I have discussed this the next 10 years. We go into this. If you haven't watched that video, that would be helpful. This will help you to understand the transition at a like energetic quantum level as well as a universal level. AI singularity does tie into this, and it will actually not completely determine because it depends on how you use it, but it can determine what you experience on the other side of the singularity. So if you read or have studied my cosmology at all, I go into it here. I'm actually going to write another book. I've started that process. I am writing another book, I guess, but I haven't obviously finished it yet. So if you look at my cosmology here, what you see is, I'll show you. The universal system here, okay? This is our universal system. It's based on an inverted God source, okay? This is the inverted God source. This is true source, okay? This is unity. Everything is the same thing. It's all a thought form of God, okay? So nothing actually exists. There is nothing here. That's why it's seen as like a simulation, but it does. It's still real, okay? So what we're doing here as a universal system is we're crossing this threshold, and we're not moving through space-time. We're doing this energetically, okay? So we're crossing this threshold, which was the wall in time. It was a tear in space-time caused by a subquantum anomaly. Higher dimensional beings went into the subquantum anomaly to figure out what it was, and they got lost. And then the universe flipped, so we had the inverted God source, okay, fallen angels. This is many different traditions and religions around the world discuss this, okay, devil, hell, etc. These are the realms that are completely separate from true source. They cannot reach this. And this is why there's a lot of struggles here, is because people are very confused up from down. That's why we're seeing so much polarity right now and so much division, is because everybody wants to go here, but some people are being pulled this way, thinking it is righteous, it is source aligned, and it is for the greatest good, but it's not. Okay. So what we're going through now is resolving that conflict at a collective level. This is the singularity we will be moving through. Okay. So it's a collective level from now through 2028. 2028 to 2032 will be individual. Okay. It's better to do the work now individually, because then when you move through this threshold, you'll be stepping into your mastery for the other side. Okay, so we have all of the organic universal systems here. They are automatically aligned with source, and the difference with the inverted energy here, inverted universe, is that we have 2 points of duality. We have the dark and we have the light. They're very different aspects. They're both God. But we have one that's void of true source and one that is pure source. And when you move back through that threshold, which is the singularity, is when we move through that threshold at a consciousness or quantum level, you have a singular point of unity, and duality revolves around it. So there's the 1 point of source, and duality is the external area. Okay, so you have the black point with the white area. That's duality, but it's balanced. Okay, so it still exists, but it's not the 2 points of duality. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to go through this to help people understand, because this is the threshold we're moving through. Everyone's going to move through it. You will experience it benevolently if you're aligned with true source, if you've done your healing work, and you are in integrity. Okay, if you're not, you're going to be moving towards the inversion. That's going to dissolve. That reality is going to dissolve. It's going to collapse in on itself. We're watching that happen politically, collectively. Governments that are run by corruption, distortion, they're collapsing in on themselves. Okay. So your job right now really would be to focus on yourself and aligning and harmonizing yourself, because that reality is already collapsing. It's already happening. Okay. We're already moving into true source. Okay. So I'm just going to go through this. So the cosmic singularity is a transition into a different universal operating system, just like I spoke about before. You could see it like we're moving back through this black hole or wall in time. And at a universal level, it is possible that we're moving through that. I have actually seen evidence that there is actually a shift in the entire galactic system, but it's happening quantumly. Everything's happening quantumly. Okay. And then it kind of, once it reaches a tipping point at the quantum level, then it crosses the threshold, and then we experience it physically. Okay. So Earth and the solar system are moving from a collapse-based inverted system into a coherent source-aligned universal system. So the whole solar system is moving into a new structure, and it is a different unity. Okay, it's from the 2 points of duality here in the inversion to the single point of unity here, where there is still duality, but it's actually birthed from unity, and it's completely balanced. Okay. This is a phase shift of governing order of reality, not a spatial relocation. Old systems dissolve because it can no longer sustain coherence. The new system becomes dominant because it can. Like I said, old systems are collapsing. Okay, they cannot survive. Dissonant or discordant systems cannot survive in the new system. Okay, things have to be balanced. They have to be organically aligned with true source energy. They have to be in high integrity, meaning there is no hidden, distorted motives, intentions behind or underneath the collective energies. Okay, anything that is to sustain in the future has to hold that coherence and alignment. Okay, so how this shift happens? This shift is energetic, structural, and cosmological. It does occur in space-time, in the planetary fields, in the solar system's alignment with universal order. Essentially, it happens at the level of consciousness. And but what happens is the operating system is being rewritten. Okay, so instead of it being these two drastic points of duality, the whole system is being rewritten to originate from unity, true unity, which is a single point and not 2 points of duality. So we have the 2 points of duality are dissolving, and everything's coming into this point of unity. Okay. What differs is how reality behaves for different beings once the system changes. Okay, this is not belief-based, it's capacity-based. So everyone's going to experience this differently depending on their resonance. Everyone will move through this singularity. Okay, the worlds are not going to split physically, they're going to split based on your resonance. People that are holding on to the 2 points of duality, that cannot tell the difference between true source aligned energies and distorted inverted energies, their realities are going to continue to collapse and get worse and worse and worse until they figure it out what to follow, okay, what to align with, and how to live in integrity in the world. Okay, those that are aligned with true source and the single point of unity, their lives will begin to get better and better and better, because they will understand that what's collapsing is meant to collapse, and things that are meant to be building are meant to be building. So they will be able to be in that receptivity, balance, divine feminine, divine masculine energy within, and flow with the new energies. If you're resisting the new energies, you're going to move into the collapsing path. Okay. So different experiences. No one is going to choose a timeline based on belief. So you're not going to be able to say, I'm self-proclaimed, aligned with source being, angelic being, and have that be your reality if you aren't there at a frequency, resonance, truth level. Okay. Your belief is one aspect of yourself. It's the mental field. Okay. And it's just the conscious mental field, which is 0.05% of your reality. Okay. Then you have the emotional field. You have the spiritual field, you have the physical field, and you have the subconscious field. Okay. So if you're trying to tell yourself that I'm going to make it there no matter what, and I'm just going to believe, it's not going to work. Okay. And I've done that. I went through that phase where whatever you believe happens. And I know the collective is actually shifting out of that. So most of you guys are probably well aware of this. But it can be actually dangerous to do that. You have to do full bodies, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, reorientation, alignment, purification, healing, to actually make choices from the conscious mind. Okay. So experience differentiates based on nervous system coherence, bioenergetic stability, capacity to hold organic intelligence, degree of inversion still present in the field. So, like I said, if you're orienting towards the inversion or you're orienting towards true source, if you're orienting towards true source, true alignment, coherence, even if you're still distorted, you still have issues with your field. You don't have advanced light bodies activated, you will still move on the higher trajectory. It's just not going to be the highest potentiality for you until you step into the advanced light body states. And it could be because not everyone's supposed to activate the higher light bodies. That doesn't mean that you can't have a good experience. Okay. So when the universal systems shift, each system responds according to what can sustain. It's the same reality, different stability states. So your system will either, if the system, the mental system, mental fields, mental energies, emotional fields, emotional energies, physical body, physical energies, and spiritual fields, spiritual energies. If they are not stable, coherent, aligned, and healed, you're risking fracturing, destabilization, soul fragmentation, etc. This is a pressurized singularity energetically. Okay. And this is why I was given this task, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, with the schools to help prepare people for this so that more people can move through it smoothly. And on the other side, we actually have a coherent human population that's able to live in unity, true unity, not the distorted physical, open love and light stuff, but true unity from structural coherence and alignment. And we're able to build on the other side of this. Okay, so it is a pressurized field that we have to move through. And the more coherent, aligned you are, the easier it's going to be. Okay, so AI's role in the singularity. I wanted to bring this up because Elon Musk was talking about it, and I honestly had no idea what he was talking about. But it's essentially when AI becomes more intelligent than humans. Okay, so I do have some stuff to say about that as well. So AI represents the upper limit of electric inverted intelligence within the old system. This is not the same as the cosmic singularity. Okay, it is not necessarily the inverted system, but it's working with one field of intelligence, which is the mental field. Okay, and it does not have an emotional field. It doesn't have a physical body. It doesn't have a spiritual field or spiritual body. It doesn't have consciousness in that capacity. It has electric energy. Okay, so it can bypass human capacity in intelligence, but not overall. Okay, if you work with AI, you're going to understand that it's really smart about calculations and logic and that type of thing. But when you really dive into it, it does not understand or comprehend the complexities of consciousness, emotional maturity, or emotional intelligence. It can help you with the physical body as far as medical studies, those types of things, but not how consciousness integrates with physical health, physical healing, etc. Okay. So AI moving through this threshold is more of a symptom of the system reaching its limit. AI cannot move into the new universal system as an authority because it's not organic intelligence. Okay. Because of all the things I just told you about it, it is not organic in that capacity. So it will not be an authority figure moving forward. If it becomes an authority figure for people moving forward, you're going to be behind. Okay, even if intelligently it is superior with a mental field, if you focus solely on that, you're only working with a fraction of your potential. Okay, so you can use it as a tool to help you with, documenting things, finding clarity, logic-based decisions. If you're cautious with it. But you cannot use it as an authority, meaning AI tells you what to do. You are always in charge of it and how it functions in your life. That if you do that, you can use it and still move into the correct universal system without distortions. If AI takes over your brain and you stop being the authority over it, then it becomes an issue, and most likely you will get distorted. Okay, because your consciousness, your spirit, is not leading you forward. Okay, it's another system. So AI needs to remain a tool, and it will through the singularity. Organic intelligence becomes primary again on the other side. Coherence governs outcomes, not optimization. So what that means is your coherence, your multi-field coherence, alignment with head and heart, is what determines outcomes. The consciousness, higher levels of consciousness, not getting more done faster. Okay. Once your full light body is activated, Diamond Sun, for those of you guys that are on that trajectory, your brain, your consciousness will work a million times faster than AI, which is hard to comprehend, but you're working in a bioenergetic field. It's a living consciousness we're living in. Okay. This is not an electric field alone where AI can take over the whole field of consciousness. It can't. It can take over a fraction of it. Okay. Your consciousness can go into the field anywhere throughout space and time once the Diamond Sun is activated and create changes like that. Okay. It's way more efficient, way more powerful, and way more capable. Okay. And that's why the path to that activation is rigorous. Okay. There are very high expectations. And if you're not prepared for that, you don't have to go all the way through. The prep school is kind of a training ground to see if you want to advance. And then once you get in the mastery school, there's that sharp arc. Okay. So why does embodiment matter? I just went through that, but we're going to go through it again. The singularity does not respond to belief or understanding. It responds to what a system can physically and energetically hold. Okay, so if you cannot hold higher frequencies, you cannot hold coherence, you cannot hold integrity, your systems will start fracturing. Okay, that's why the work needs to be done now as we move through this. I don't expect that to happen, but you are going to see it. It's not going to happen to everyone. If you're not perfectly healed, you're not going to start losing your mind. But it could. It depends on how fractured you are. Okay, fractured your realities are, your fields are. Coherence is really, really, really important. Okay. So if you do the work now on the nervous system, the field, the light body, your own organic intelligence, your consciousness and organic intelligence, so your coherent intelligence, is what directly affects how reality behaves post transition. Okay. So if you're in a coherent state, even if you're, unity here, this would be, the 20-point Merkaba, that's 5D. You're going to have to be at least in 5D to align with this reality. Okay. 3D, 4D, those people are moving into the collapsing realities. Okay. The fracturing, the collapsing, etc. 5D is 20-point starts, 300 kilohertz at least. That is, if that is harmonic at that level, you'll move through this smoothly. Okay. And so that is essentially the function of my work, is helping people move through the singularity, and then on the other side, build systems to help us maintain it long term. Okay. So it's not necessarily ascension. It is. I mean, we're watching frequencies rise, building the light bodies, moving people into ascended mastery states and beyond. We're looking at cosmic consciousness, embodying cosmic consciousness, solar energies. It is ascension, but what we're building is stability in the field. Okay. Stability at an individual level, stability at a structural, systemic level, a collective level, planetary level, so that we can sustain it and maintain it long term without falling into that distortion again. Okay, because we're at a quantum level, we can always cross that threshold into an organic unity based reality. And until that whole structure has been dissolved, we could always slip back into it. Okay. And I actually haven't asked about that. If it's dissolving, it is collapsing in on itself right now, but I don't know if that potentiality completely dissolves or not. I guess we could look into that. Okay, so to summarize here, so we're moving into a new universal system. The Earth is crossing as a whole, not separately. So the Earth crosses as a whole. There's no separation. People's realities will depend on their coherence. Reality is going to reorganize based on structure. Okay, structure of consciousness is changing at the subquantum and quantum levels, and you're going to experience this based on your capacity to hold coherence. Okay, so that's the singularity, and we were moving through that. Again, if you go back to the next 10 years video, you'll see now to 2028 is a lot of collective chaos, reordering. We're seeing this all over the planet now. It's increasing rapidly. About 2028 to 2032 is going to be more peaceful on the collective stage, so people can actually focus inward. Okay, 2030 is going to be the threshold there, and then on the other side of that, we have to build. Okay, so those people that are really aligned now, start building now. Those that are called, start doing the work now. And that is the path. So I thought that was important to share. If you have any questions, reach out. If you want to book an analysis, that's where I recommend people starting. That way you can see where you're at. If you're coherent, we can always get on a call. And the school is absolutely the best path, because it teaches you how to manage and master your energy. I'm here to help you through it as a mentor. Like I offer mentorship through Signal. And that way, if you have questions, anything comes up, you can always reach out and I can help you through questions there. Okay. And if you're on the mastery trajectory, it's definitely recommended you start sooner than later. And we can get into the advanced light body states and get stuff set up for the coming ages that I'm actually really excited for. So hopefully this helps you guys find some optimism in these challenging times, as well as some paths to help you reclaim your power, sovereignty, and alignment, and feel excitement for the coming times, because it is exciting. Okay, sending so much love. Bye-bye.